Hi, this is Bruce Anderson from Mindset Wins. This video is for coaches. You've got some young baseball players on your team, and you're having a challenge, first of all, getting them to focus, really focus on what they're doing in the practice, and really focus in competition, and especially getting them to really focus after something goes wrong. How do you get them to reset? Well, I'm here to tell you, here's what you can do. First thing you got to recognize is that what you're looking for is what we call a mental state. Like happiness is a mental state, sadness is a mental state, intensely focused on the game is a mental state. So the first thing you got to do is to help the players understand that it's possible for them to change their mental state really fast. And here's what I recommend you do for that. Set up a few of them at a time and set them up so that it's a little game, just like all of your other drills, whether it's catching, throwing, whatever, footwork. Set it up, for example, when I hold out my right hand, I want you to giggle. Feel silly, giggle. When I hold out my left hand, I want you to get serious. And then all you do is you have them practice. You can do the guiding at first, and then you can get them to do it with each other. Giggle, serious, giggle, giggle, serious, giggle, serious, serious. And you keep doing that until they can do it really well and they can switch from one state to another really rapidly. Now, in reality, you don't really want them to know how to change from giggling to serious. The point is here that that shows them that they can change mental state. Now, the next step is a slightly more difficult because it's up to you to help them get into that state of focus, whether you call it flow or in the zone or peak performance or whatever works for the players that you're working with. You want to guide them to whatever state that they're actually experienced, something that they have been through before. And they've probably all experienced a time when everything was going right and it felt great and they were really enjoying the game. So you want to talk to them in such a way to help them get into that state. And then you have them imagine that there's a circle about the size of a hula hoop on the ground in front of them. And you have them step into that hula hoop and imagine that state, to actually feel it. And watch their face. You can usually tell when they're there or as close as they're going to get for the time being, and then have them step out. And then have them step back in to practice this state. Get it. If they need some verbal help accessing it, go through the same little talk of how everything's going great. You don't really have to think, it's just happening for you. And then have them step out and do this. This is the kind of a thing that you can spend 2-3 minutes on each practice, and poof, you're done. That's all. That's enough. Then, after you've got them to where they can do this and they get right into the state with this circle on the ground, then you have them imagine a game situation where they don't have the circle with them, but you tell them, well, what I want you to do is right here in your right ear, you've got an imaginary magical hoop. You just flick it out, reach up, hit your ear like this, flick it on the ground and step into it. Or you take a step back, flick it on the ground, step into it, and bang, you're there. No matter what happened a minute ago, you struck out. You missed this incredible catch that would have ended the inning. Whatever happens, you feel bad about it for a couple of seconds, step in there, and you're back in the game, focused. That's the exercise. The tricks to it are, number one, you have to guide them to that state to help them get there. And then you got to guide them to spend a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes practicing this each practice session. You start with giggle, serious, or whatever, any other two things that are easy for them to access, back and forth until they master that. Then you start getting them into that in the zone feeling where they're totally focused on the game, and you get it to where they can do that outside of normal contexts where they're not actually doing anything. And then you have them practice as if it were in the middle of a competition and something's just gone wrong to distract them. They threw a ball and totally blew it. They missed where they were headed. They struck out. Whatever happened, boom, boom, step into it, and they're back in that state. You just keep practicing this, and over the course of a couple of months, these kids will learn how to do this and learn how to do it well, and it'll be a habit that'll be with them for the rest of their career.